Abortion Rights in the US by Rhiannon Carvajal. What can be more controversial than the abortion debate in the United States? On the one side, you have the pro-choice group, while on the other side, you have the pro-life group, both extolling the virtues of their ethical and political stances. They never seem to deviate from their purely black and white abortion views. There does not seem to be a gray area for both to agree on. It's either you're a baby killer or stay out of my womb. As a pro-choice individual, I would like to show you how important it is to continue to honor the landmark decision made in the famous Roe v. Wade Supreme Court ruling. When both the birth control pill and intrauterine device became widely available in the 1960s, the era of modern contraception resulted in widespread changes in birth control. By 1965, the pill had become the most popular birth control method, followed by the condom and sterilization. Sex no longer equated conception, which of course leads to religious and political wrangling. The average U.S. family size has leveled off to about 2 children since 1972. With the safety, efficiency, diversity, and accessibility of contraceptive methods made available, their use has increased exponentially. It seems that being fruitful and multiplying is a doctrine that has been left behind with the advent of industrialization and technological advances. Now onto the abortion issue itself. In the United States, unintended pregnancy remains a problem. 49% of pregnancies are unintended, and 54% of these pregnancies end in abortion. Since 1969, the Centers for Disease Control has carried out abortion monitoring to document the number and characteristics of women obtaining legal abortions. From 49 reporting areas in the U.S., in 2013, 664,435 legally induced abortions were reported to the CDC for analysis. For 2013, the abortion rate was estimated at 12.5 abortions per 1,000 women between the ages of 15 to 44, with the abortion ratio being 200 per 1,000 live births. Compared with 2012, the total number, rate, and ratio of abortions for 2013 decreased 5% from 2004 to 2013. The number, rate, and ratio of reported abortions decreased 20%, 21%, and 17% respectively. In 2013, all three measures reached their lowest point for the entire period between 2004 to 2013. Women in their 20s accounted for the majority of abortions in 2013 and throughout the period of study. Contrary to the late-term baby butchering scenarios picketed by anti-abortion fanatics, the majority of abortions in 2013 took place early in gestation. 91.6% of abortions were performed at less than or equal to 13 weeks gestation. A smaller number of abortions, 7.1%, were performed at 14 to 20 weeks gestation, and even fewer, 1.3%, were performed at greater than 21 weeks gestation. In 2013, 22.2% of all abortions were early medical abortions. It seems that there is a strong correlation between increased contraceptive use, sex education, and decline in abortion rates. You would think the decline in abortion rates would make pro-lifers happy, but I guess contraceptive use is also something they want to put an end to. So let's move on to the big picture. Ultimately, the abortion issue was really settled in January 22, 1973, when the Supreme Court made the decision to make first trimester abortion legal across the country. Roe v. Wade was the historic Supreme Court decision that overturned the Texas state interpretation of abortion law. The Roe v. Wade decision held that a woman with her doctor could choose abortion in earlier months of pregnancy without legal restrictions, and the restrictions in later months based on the right to privacy. The lower court's decision in this case was that the Ninth Amendment, a part of the Bill of Rights, in stating that the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people, protected a person's right to privacy. The Supreme Court chose to base its decision on the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The court also looked at the likelihood of life for the fetus if a pregnancy ended naturally or artificially during each trimester of pregnancy. The definition of life was meticulously laid out and has since been a source of contention for abortion friends and foes. They determined that different rules at different stages of pregnancy were considered appropriate. Thus, the abortion debate should have been an open and shut case. Since 1973, abortion remained in the private realm and within the hands of women. Yet it seems that religious dogma and conservative views regarding a woman's role in society and their sexuality are the main driving forces behind its continued scrutiny and debate. Women shouldn't have sex for fun, only to procreate. Once emotional, religious, and sexual, gender-centered beliefs are taken out of the equation, the reality of abortion simply becomes a woman's right. Roe v. Wade pretty much gave abortion rights to women, thus making it a woman's issue. I believe this decision was rational and realistic, since it is the woman who ultimately has to be the vessel in which the child gestates within. She should be the main decision maker, and whether or not she wishes to continue with her pregnancy. So much fervor and fanatical objections since 1973 simply shows that most pro-lifers are more concerned with the pre-birth fetus than they are once a child has been born. It doesn't matter how many embryos stay in suspended animation inside labs, or how many women go to sperm clinics to get artificially inseminated. You don't see pro-life activists outside of these places. No, it seems almost like only the gestating embryo inside a woman's uterus is a place of concern. Isn't it alive if it's in a petri dish or frozen in dry ice? Pro-life protesters won't stalk or murder scientists working with stem cells in a lab, nor will they make a fuss when leftover embryos are disposed of in an in vitro clinic. It is only the uterus that seems to be considered holy ground to be fought over. Harassing women going to abortion clinics seems to be their primary battleground. Shaming women and the results of their sexual decisions seems to be the pro-lifers' main agenda. It almost seems since the sexual revolution in the 60s that religious groups and conservative men in general have tried to put a stop to the sexual liberation of women. It doesn't matter that abortion rates have steadily gone down over the years. What seems to matter is the fact that birth control has become widely available and widely used. Again, leading back to the liberation of women, it doesn't matter that unwanted children are born just as long as they are left in baby drop boxes or at fire stations and dumpsters. Once a child is born, a pro-life activist's job is done. The one who was made to do her duty, she was put back in her place. Conservative religious activists need to be reminded that our country is governed by freedom and fairness, not religious doctrine. Pro-lifers want to impose their beliefs on the rest of us. Privacy in the bedroom and in our rooms is not allowed according to archaic beliefs. The reason for separation of church and state is to protect the nation from religious governance. These people don't seem to get that Roe v. Wade already answered all of the questions about life and viability, and who ultimately was in charge of the decision to abort. I wonder if it was a man's issue, if it would even be an issue at all.